Okay, so here we go with what I thought would be another DC multiverse unboxing, but it's actually not. Because, like, when I went to order this on Amazon, I found it by looking for, you know, DC multiverse, and this was one of the ones that popped up. And I'm like, oh, cool, they're doing a DC multiverse of John Constantine. And I went ahead and pre ordered it, and it's not a DC multiverse. It's a DC Direct by Mcfarlane Toys. So I haven't looked into this yet, but apparently Mcfarlane, when he took over the DC license, took over DC Direct. So he's going to be making DC Direct figures. And I'm like, why isn't it part of multiverse? Like, why is it like a separate thing now? But I guess we're going to find out, because we're going to open this up. So this is John Constantine Black Adam comic. It's Page Punchers. And you can see it comes with an exclusive comic book. So it's got the comic book cover on the back there. Picture of the John Constantine figure. So you can see the trade dress is a little bit different from the multiverse. I think it's a little bit more interesting looking, just me personally. But yeah, let's go ahead and open this puppy up, because I'm curious about it now, as far as the figure itself goes. Because I don't know what to expect. Because it's not really a DC multiverse figure, is it? It's DC Direct figure. So let's go ahead and open it. John Constantine, which was, I believe, originally pronounced Constantine, but everybody nowadays just says Constantine, so whatever. He's got an extra hand, which does not look like it has the funky Mcfarlane ball joint like we're used to, but we're gonna figure this out. And he's got a book that's taped in here. I'm gonna cut through this tape real quick, and then hopefully just peel the tape off the front of the book. And it doesn't seem like it's too sticky of a tape, didn't leave any residue. So there we got a nice book, and it's got you can see where it's got the spine in there, like it's a notebook, and it seems to have some sort of texture to it, like a wrinkled page kind of texture, but there's no printing in it. So I guess you gotta just imagine it's got whatever kind of printing in it. It does have in the front like this really nice detailed pentagram sigil kind of imprinted on it, because obviously this is some kind of book of dark magic or something. Excuse me, sniffly. And then we have a full-sized comic book in a little plastic baggie. So I guess I'll slice through the top of that so I can get my comic book out of it. And this is a fairly thick comic book. This is a full-size comic book. So it's not like a little 16-pager they tossed in there. It is a nice full-size comic book. So this is not going to be one of those where, like, with the Masters of the Universe, where I go and read the whole comic, because those comics are fairly short. This is a full-length comic book. This is not like, just 5 or 6 pages to explain to us who, like, Fisto and Faker are. This got Swamp Thing in it. It's Batman, Superman, Black Adam. This wave of figures is Batman, Superman, Black Adam, and John Constantine. So it shouldn't really surprise you that those characters appear. And then there's some advertisements in the back for DC graphic novels. A nice advertisement with Shazam. A nice illustration of the original Captain Marvel by Jim Lee. He does a nice job with that character. I haven't seen Jim Lee draw Captain Marvel too often, but he does a good job with him. So lots of Captain Marvel in the back. So like, they've got that new Shazam movie that's coming out, and of course the Black Adam movie that's coming out. So this is probably cross promotion with that. So obviously it's cross promotion with the Black Adam movie because he's the main character of this assortment. So it's a Black Adam wave. It's got Superman, Batman, John Constantine, and Black Adam, and Black Adam's a star because he's the one that's got a movie coming out. But these are all kind of A-list characters. I think John Constantine would be like the most obscure of them, and even he's been in like a big budget movie where he was played by Keanu Reeves. So everybody knows who John Constantine is. So let's go ahead and take that figure out of the package. Since, it's the main part of it. And he's got these damn plastic tabs that I'm having a hard time reaching with the... And I'm not wanting to scratch up the figure. And I hate the plastic tabs. I hate them so much. Maybe I can slide this one under here. There, no, I don't think I quite got it. There, I think I got it that time. And there's another one here at his ankle. Oh, so many of these plastic tabs. So many of these plastic tabs to get on my nerves. Alright, so there we go. We got them out of the package. So let's have a look at his articulation, because I'm curious about that. So arms go all the way up about that far, go all the way around, got a bicep cut there. All these joints seem like they're fairly mobile so far. Got double joints to the elbows. If he came with a cigarette, I think you'd be able to get him into some cool cigarette smoking poses. Right now, he just kind of looks like he's itching his nose, but you can see what I'm talking about. Where like you could get him into a good cigarette smoking pose, like if you wanted to make him a cigarette or whatever. So looking over these hands do have the Mcfarlane joints on there. So I'm wondering how this is supposed to go on there. Am I supposed to? Let's see. 'Cause it's got a wrist on it. But I guess you are supposed to stick this on the wrist post like that. So technically it makes his wrist look like it's a little long. But I'm guessing they figure since you're going to have that on there to do the spell casting, it's going to kind of obscure that anyway. So he does have the funky Mcfarlane ball joint wrist. This seems pretty much like a Mcfarlane multiverse figure. Just only it's got the DC Direct label on it for whatever reason. I don't know if that means it's going to be sold direct to comic shops and that this will be a guy that you won't be able to find at, say, Walmart or Target. But yeah, so the spellcasting hand looks pretty cool, except for, like I said, it's got that little bit extra wrist on there. And you can see, like, I've got it on there. I'm pretty sure I've got it on there all the way. I'm pretty sure that's as far on there as it'll go. So it even has, like, a little bit of a gap there where, like, I kind of feel like it should be a little more flush for that spellcasting hand. But like I said, I kind of figure that maybe their motivation with that was they figure if you're doing the spellcasting hand, it's probably going to be more attention grabbing and kind of fill in for that. But I don't know. The wrist kind of makes it work out kind of weird. So I don't know about that. I'm going to put the regular hand back on there. So the problem with John Constantine, if you prefer the comic book pronunciation, is that he's just kind of a normal looking dude. I mean, this is just a guy in a trench coat. So he's not going to be as flashy of an action figure as, say, Superman or Batman or Black Adam, the guys in costumes. But for those of us who are fans of the character from the comic book, you know, this is a character you don't want to have anyway, because he's just a cool character. And he does look cool in his own sort of way. He's just, like I said, not really a flashy sort of action figure, but that's okay. He's not supposed to be a flashy looking guy. He's supposed to be like a kind of a normal, low key looking dude. He's just supposed to be a normal bloke, as it were. So, but let's take some time to admire this figure. Uh, he's got a really nice head sculpt, I think. Like, I think the face on there is excellent. There's a lot of good detail to it. He's got this great expression where it's got this kind of neutrality to it. Like, you can see it as a little bit of a smirk, a little bit world weary. It's really cool. The hair itself is very blonde and messy and spiky, and the way I generally think of John Constantine's hair as being that sort of where he rolled out of bed looking like this. He's put on his trench coat. He's got a little bit of stubble, where like they airbrushed a little bit of stubble on the chin. So really good job with that. And the hair, it's got like this, the kind of dry brushing to it, like with the highlights and everything like that. You know, a lot of texture to it. You know, it's this guy looks like John Constantine. You know, it's like in the original comic book, they drew him to look like Sting from the movie Quadrophenia, and like specifically what it was the artist just wanted to draw Sting, and he kept drawing Sting in the background of the comic book. So Alan Moore made up a character to be this guy that's Sting standing around in the background of the comic book, and just kind of became a popular character in his own right, and got a life of his own. Got his own comic book called Hellblazer, and it was a big hit on its own right. So he went from being a supporting character in Swamp Thing to, being his own character. And eventually, Alan Moore had big plans for him. He was going to be the center character of a big comic book storyline that was going to be called Twilight of the Superheroes, and John Constantine was going to be at the center of it. But Alan Moore had his falling out with DC Comics at that time, and that was the end of that. So that never happened. But the character still wound up becoming pretty popular, going on to doing a lot of cool things. And if you're a comic book fan, if you're a DC comic book fan specifically, John Constantine's a character you know and appreciate, and you definitely wanted to be part of your DC universe, is what I'm saying. So let's see. I want to compare his height to. I just happen to have Green Lantern right here, so right next to each other. They're about the same height. So, and then of course, got Superman here. So that's what it looks like next to the Rebirth Superman. And of course, there's a Superman that's going to be in, like I said, in this assortment, and hopefully, I'll have a review of that soon. But yeah. I'm pretty happy with this John Constantine figure. Oh yeah, I forgot one other thing. In the bag, there's some more stuff. So we got a trading card, and we got the figure stand. Figure stand is actually taped to the outside of it. There we go. So yeah, standard Mcfarlane figure stand. Like I said, it should be standard with every action figure, not just Mcfarlane figures. But again, thank you, Mcfarlane, for including a figure stand. So we can put him on his figure stand. He does have kind of cool boots, like cowboy boots almost, or work boots or something like that. So there we go. So there we go. And then there was the trading card. Almost forgot there was a trading card because I got so excited about that comic book. So, but I am more of a... That's on the outside too. Kept thinking it was on the inside. And it's got its own little baggie on there. So I guess we should open that up. And again, this is, got a different sort of trade dress from it, from the regular Mcfarlane figures. And I'm a little disappointed in this trading card. I'll show you why in a second. And because the trading card is just the cover art from the comic book. And I know I always say, like, I'd probably rather it be a piece of artwork than just a photograph of the action figure. But I didn't mean just use the cover of the comic book again, because I figured this is probably gonna be all the trading cards. But let's read the back real quick. John Constantine wields the dark arts to save his soul, as well as Earth itself. An expert sorcerer and magician, Constantine isn't known for his glowing personality, but when it comes to the occult, he's the best investigator there is. A notorious man with skeletons in his closet, Constantine's moral compass is as gray as can be, but deep down he wants to do the right thing. Yeah, that's a pretty good, I think, apt description of the character. Like I said, he's a unique character as far as comic books. He's kind of like almost like an anti Doctor Strange in that sort of way. So he's not your stereotypical comic book sorcerer. He's a guy in a rumpled trench coat, and he's I see him as more sort of like almost blue collar and working class, but he's still really very knowledgeable about these sort of things. So anyway, that's it for the trading card. So, do I recommend this figure? Of course, I recommend this figure. It's John Constantine. It's the great modern comic books characters. I almost call him a superhero. He's not really a superhero. He's more of an anti-hero. But yeah, he'll go really well with your superhero collection. I really want him to do a Zatanna figure now. I mean, of course, I wanted him to do a Zatanna figure anyway, because I love Zatanna. But I like those two together. I think they have really good chemistry together as characters. So I'd like to have a figure of her now to go along with him. But but man, this is a great John Constantine figure. If you're a fan of the character, I highly recommend you pick it up. It's probably I've had a few figures of Constantine. Like the first DC Direct figure they made, it was a great sculpt, but you couldn't move his legs. And you know what I say about that? If it's an action figure and he can't move its legs, it's not really an action figure. It's a statue where you can move its arms. So, and then there was the DC Universe Classics figure, which I think that one was only sold through the website. But that was a good figure. But this one I think is way better. The head sculpt is just perfect. Like that's exactly like what I would want a John Constantine figure to look like. And you got a lot of detail to it with the nice rumpled trench coat. My only complaint is I wish there weren't this hole in the pants here. Like I kind of wish they hadn't have done that. But whatever. It's still I think a pretty great figure, and I highly recommend it. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and all the YouTube stuff down below. Let me know what you think about this figure and what you think about the character in general, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.